Melanie Cunningham, Upper Hanover. I'd also like to discuss action item G. I now realize that you do understand that December 5th you voted to pretty much bring suit on Upper Hanover Township with regard to the conditions that they were requiring from the district with regard to the safety of the walking students. I can tell that you know now. Do any of you realize that in 1998 there was a PennDOT study that deemed Montgomery Avenue as hazardous to walking students? Do you also realize that in all these years there's no action by the district to restrict any students from walking on Montgomery Avenue since it was deemed hazardous? Motion that is action item G is deceptive. You're being asked to vote on an offer to Upper Hanover only. This can be changed by your council at will. The only purpose for this premature motion is so your solicitor can wave it around in court, yes, in court, to try to say everything is settled between Upper Hanover and Upper Park when it's not close. The fact is that Upper Hanover is holding steady on their position because they're worried about the safety of the students on Montgomery Avenue. This motion is also flawed because it only assumes a settlement between Upper Hanover School District, Upper Park School District and Upper Hanover. This motion should allow a settlement between the school district, Upper Hanover, the interveners, and even Pennsburg, who has now voted to try to intervene in your suit. So if your intervention is allowed, then the motion isn't any good. In good conscience, I don't think you can possibly delegate your responsibility to the safety of the students, and I'm talking to the board now, to those students, to a bunch of lawyers who don't even live in this valley. So I wanted to just remind you of that. Upper Hanover has not considered the proposed settlement, I don't believe. This is only the school district side, and it's foolish to believe that after all this time that Upper Hanover is going to just miraculously say, okay, we'll just do whatever you guys ask us for. So, and on action item G, number 2, I don't know how you can possibly vote for this at all. And I'll read it to you. It says, the Board of Supervisors of Upper Hanover Township shall likewise authorize its council to execute a settlement stipulation substantially similar to the draft settlement stipulation. And hopefully you've seen this draft settlement stipulation. You're actually voting to tell Upper Hanover that they must or shall authorize their solicitor to execute this stipulation. Are you serious? Or how can any of you think you're going to tell a township to authorize their council to settle? I understand that. And what is substantially similar? Are you all okay with delegating this kind of discretion to attorneys? The safety of the children is the issue. And I think Attorney Bruce touched on this, but what constitutes a minor modification? And what does that even mean? Your council wants to take away your authority to resolve this issue. This motion basically says to give your attorney the authority to decide for you. The problem with that is that the public voted for the school board, not for your attorneys. So I wondered why the proposal wasn't attached to the agenda. I'm pretty sure everyone here would really like to look at it and comment on it because it involves all of us. I'm sure Upper Hanover has it, so why can't we see it? I'm not sure what's so secret about sidewalks. I've been to all the Upper Hanover meetings and obviously all these meetings. So I'm hoping that maybe one of you board members would maybe stand up and read it, because you can, and that would be really great. So once again, I just feel like you guys are keeping the public in the dark, and I don't like it. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'd be happy to break down what this motion actually does say. What it says is that you're authorizing your council to execute a stipulation once it has been negotiated with Upper Hanover Township. It resolves the appeal. The settlement is conditioned upon the Board of Supervisors of Upper Hanover Township accepting it. In other words, this isn't telling Upper Hanover Township they will accept it. This is litigation. This is why it was discussed in executive session, because you can't really settle litigation through public conversation much of the time. So what happens is the parties negotiate their position respectively, just with any other type of lawsuit. We believe we have come up with a resolution that is, and Upper Hanover Township, their board will be voting upon this, I believe, next Tuesday night. But we believe that this is something that can and should be acceptable to both sides. And at this point, in order for this to move forward, both boards have to approve it. One board can't approve it for both sides. So what this board is being asked to do tonight is to approve the terms and conditions that were shared with them in executive session. And if and when it's approved also by Upper Hanover Township, it will become a public record, which anyone can see. As far as what the minor modifications are, as I said earlier, we're talking about fine points in the agreement, last minute word changes so that we don't have to come back and reconvene this board for a special board meeting just to add a few, to change a few words at the last minute. Nothing, though, will be signed by any lawyer, at least from our office representing the school district, that the entire board hasn't seen. And if anybody wants to contend that it's a major or more minor modification, you'll have the opportunity to do that. But that's not what those modifications mean. The deal that was presented to the board in executive session for their consideration is for all intents and purposes, what we expect to be the final deal. So it's up to both boards, this board and the Upper Hanover Township board, whether or not they accept it or not, but both parties have to approve it, and that's what the board's being asked to do tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Bruce. Mr. Cunningham, do you have anything on the agenda items?